Moto2 gets underway here at the wonderful Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for the Catalan Grand Prix of 2025. The field is set. Daniel Hologado on pole position from Jake Dixon and Colin Vire, the front row of the grid. This is all gearing up to be an absolutely tremendous race. Let's head down then and join our colleagues trackside, and that being as well with Susie Perry, who's down on the grid.
And back to motorbikes now, and we'll start our Moto2 build-up. Last year, David Alonso won the Moto3 World Championship, and he won the hearts of the motor racing fraternity as well. Well, last time out in Hungary, he took his first Moto2 victory, and it was beautiful.
Here comes Alonso, and he takes the lead! What a ride from David Alonso! What a way to win your first ever Moto2 Grand Prix!
David, there are not many riders who win a Moto2 race in their rookie season, but it must feel so good to have done it.
Yeah, for sure, it's very special. The first victory, the first champion is always the first time. It's special because it's the difficult one, I think, because you have never done before. And yeah, for the team that is working very hard and give me the patience on the first part of the season, it's very nice to give them this victory. I think I won Hungary GP thanks to Austria GP, because I have learned from that race to not overriding, not thinking on the victory before the time. So I think thanks to the crash in Austria, I could win in Hungary.
You're so used to winning like you did last season. To come into this category, have you put pressure on yourself?
Yeah, I put a bit too much on the beginning, too much of pressure, and the problem was that if I make one step, I don't really realize and I don't enjoy that I made that step, because it's little step, so I don't put the value for that step that I get. So now I'm trying to make difference, and all the little steps that I can do to stay happy with that and to be more positive. From Moto3 to Moto2, I think it's difficult because you are not the only world champion. There are a lot of them, and people start to be like more professional. It's one step to jump to MotoGP. So always in life, when you are almost there, like this is the most difficult part, because you are almost touching MotoGP, but you are not on MotoGP. So I think a critical moment on your career, like if you are really focused, like 1, 2, 3 years, whatever, then you can get it. But a lot of people, like on the last part of their career, struggle. So I think Moto2 is difficult because of that.
Well, we arrive in Barcelona, very different to Peloton Park. How do you expect it to be here on a Moto2 machine?
Yeah, first time in Barcelona with the Moto2. It's completely different style from the last 2 races. And here you need to be very smooth. You need to turn with the gas. Like you need to slide a lot and with a lot of speed. So I think it will be hard here with the Moto2 also. The tires make a big drop. So, well, let's enjoy and let's do like kind of this dirt track here, because you need to be always sliding.
Well, it is a good track for you. I mean, you only know how to win here. So are you looking forward to this weekend here?
Yeah, at the end now, we were like really focused on winning one race to say, okay, we can do it. But now, like, we don't really want to have constant on the first places and like not to throw races. Till now, we were like, or we win or we crash. And now we will try to not crash, finish the races, no matter the position, but finish the races and try to make like good points.
Thanks for that.
David Alonso there. Obviously, that was shot on Thursday. But he's going to have to go from 25th because he's got a 9-place grid penalty. There's quite a few penalties in Moto2. So it's going to be very difficult from there. But just aside of that, a glorious victory last time out at that sort of stop-go circuit. And it was great to see him on the top step, wasn't it?
He's a natural winner.
isn't he? If you've, you know, as a rookie, it's always difficult jumping up into Moto2. The reality is, it's the same for everyone, but you spend so much time on the smaller bikes your whole career, and then you jump onto a bike that's twice the size, twice the power, and it takes a lot of getting your head around. But what I loved was his natural instinct when he got in the battle at the front, and he couldn't help himself, could he? And he stole the win on the last lap. It was beautiful.
It was gorgeous. His teammates in pole position, Danny Holgado this weekend, and he's looked amazing from the start of the weekend.
All weekend, looking super smooth. He's really adapted really well. To be fair, he did well in Balaton as well, and then here he's need a completely different style, and he's just adapted to this track and to the layout and the way the tires feel, which is completely different to the last 2 rounds where we've been. So yeah, he's definitely, he's got race pace as well, and on the time attack, the pole position. So the rookie Holgado is definitely on form here.
Yeah, Colin Vire there, we're looking at the front row, and we just bounced past Jake Dixon, so I want to go back to Jake. There's been some big changes within the team themselves in the garage, you know, one in, one out in terms of personnel. It's made such a difference to the results that are happening. Going from the front row of the grid, what do you feel he's got here in these conditions today?
It's fantastic that he's qualified well, because Jake's he always goes forward in a race anyway, but with his experience, he's one of the better riders on tyre life. He's really good at carrying corner speed. He rides incredibly smooth. He's got the experience. So, it's so interesting how the team's changed some personnel, and confidence and trust in your team is everything. So, I'm so pleased that more BDS squad have done that. And Jake's back, isn't he? We'd lost him for a few rounds. It's sort of easy to forget. He did back-to-back wins early on in the year. He led the championship.
But it just goes to show, doesn't it, if there's something wrong in the team and it's going in the wrong direction, it has a massive impact on the rider.
Well, look at our team. It's, you know, we have to deal with Sylvan on a weekly basis, but we soldier on through. We keep our heads down, don't we, Susie?
If I'm not there, things spiral down though.
When you're not here.
And then you end up like Pico.
It's easy. When you're not here, we float through it, don't we?
Let's float to Jake Dixon on the front row of the grid. He's talking to Nat.
Jake, the experienced rider in between the 2 rookies on the front row. Feels like the track temperatures are a bit cooler than they have been all week, and although it's very humid, but that experience could really come into play towards the end of this race, couldn't it, with the tyres?
Yeah, 100%. It's all going to be about what you're doing at the end of the race, not what you're doing at the beginning. So, if I'm completely honest, it's really humid. It's not been like this all weekend. The grip feels really low out there. So yeah, it's going to be a matter of managing, not overheating the tyres, trying to get off to a good start, and seeing what we can do. I need to be a little bit of a tyre whisperer, like you said yesterday, so hopefully... Sorry about that. Hopefully I'm your man for that, and usually I am, but let's see if I can make a bit of a difference today.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
What a great phrase that is, tyre whisperer, and bang on. I mean, we've talked about tyres in Moto3, so going to be pretty critical as well in Moto2 today.
Very much. Tyre wear here again with the Pirellis, but also in MotoGP. Around here, it takes it makes or breaks your race. You have to manage. You have to be clever. You have to place yourself well. You have to manage to sort of that tyre spin and the tyre temperature. It's so important, and we know Jake is good at that.
It's weird, the weather, actually. It has gone really humid. I mean, Jake made a really good point there. There's a lot of cloud cover. The sun just keeps breaking through and popping away again. As we're looking at shots there of Philip Salach, Jake's teammate, going behind him in 5th place. But let's pop up to the front row again, where we can speak to Colin Vire.
Colin, a really good qualifying last time out in Hungary, even better here in Barcelona. Tell us how you're feeling about your race pace today.
Yeah, feeling amazing at the moment. Very nice view from here. Feeling overall very good all weekend already. I think it's going to be a very important race today. We tried to keep the tyres alive at least. It's going to be a very long race. I think we just tried to be in the mix for the podium. But even if we get into top 5, top 10, I'm very, very confident already about the whole weekend again. So we just tried to gain the experience, and let's see where we can finish.
Thanks, Colin.
Thank you.
What would it mean for him to continue this good weekend?
Unreal, isn't it? He started the season, and we expected big things from him, but he was average at the start of the year. He sort of looked like he was lost for a little bit, down in the high 20s in some of the races. But wow, as he worked hard, and like you say, to have two rookies on the front row of the grid's really impressive. Him and Olgado. I mean, Olgado has been the absolute standout. It's bizarre. He's absolutely dominated the weekend, hasn't he, from nowhere? Really, I know he's had a podium already in his rookie year, but we've not seen Olgado have this sort of form, really, for quite some time.
Well, can he convert from pole position to first place on the podium? As we look at Senna Ages, let's hop into pole position where Nat is. She's done a good job on the front row. We can hear from Danny Holgado. That helicopter, honestly.
Danny, congratulations on the pole position. It looks like it's been the perfect weekend so far. How much are you looking forward to this one?
Yes, I'm very happy starting the first position for the home GP for me. Difficult race, I think, because the tire is very good. It's difficult here for the drop, but I need to enjoy the race, enjoy the moment, enjoy with my family, friends, and my friends, and full gas, and enjoy the moment.
All the best.
Thank you.
Good luck to Danny Holgado. Enjoy the moment indeed. If you enjoy your racing, you're normally faster, aren't you? Just a word about Albert Arenas and Barry Baltas, because they've both got 9-place grid penalties. They're on the fifth row. They should be up there. They're obviously out of position. What do you think we could see from them?
I think we can see a good comeback and some aggressive moves. You know, these are two riders as well that are known to be aggressive and are known to be good on the brakes. So yeah, 9-place penalty. This means firework. They know they're gonna have to place themselves quite early on into the front of the group if they are to manage the race in the best way.
Let's get Albert's mindset. Nat's with him.
Albert, really good qualifying, but obviously that penalty putting you back here. How much more difficult does that make today's race?
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit harder. We're gonna have to overtake some riders, but we know this track has a lot of drop at the end of the race, so we will have to manage. There's opportunities. Our pace is strong, so I'm gonna try to go to the front and fight for a good result here at home.
Thanks, Albert.
Yeah, difficult situation they're in. He's talking about the end of the race and having to save something, but he's actually got to get to the front of the race at the start.
Yeah, how do you do that? It's tricky, but the beauty is because no one's going to push at the beginning, so the pace will be relatively slow. So if you are out of place on the grid, you know there's going to be a group, and with that long start and finish straight, you can gain a lot of time without actually using a lot of rear tyres. So it's not actually quite as difficult as it sounds.
Okay, dark horses for this one then.
Barry Baltus.
I'm going to say Daniel Munoz.
Go on.
Who's qualified on the second row of the grid. We've seen him a few times as a replacement rider last year. He's been a replacement rider this year for Dennis Onshu.
Yeah. Yep.
And he's done. He's over. I mean, he's overperformed, hasn't he?
Massively. And like, do you know what? He's one of those riders without a ride. These are your chances. These are the times you make a name for yourself. So, young Spanish rider on the second row of the grid, nothing to lose.
Yeah, home race as well, so we'll be powered, I'm sure, by the fans around this circuit. And this is the scene here then as we're about to get underway for our second race of the day in Barcelona as they sweep across the front row of the grid. Two rookies there, Colin Vire. Jake Dixon is in between them, and Danny Holgado is your pole sitter. Michael is joining Gavin.
We're underway then as we get ready for the Moto2 Grand Prix of Catalonia. Moto2 gets underway here at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalonia with Daniel Holgado on pole position from Jake Dixon and Colin Vire 1, 2 and 3. Then we get Damon Munoz alongside Philip Salak and Senna Igus. Then we get Aaron Canet, Emil Sasaki, Alonso Lopez, Manuel Gonzalez, Diego Morella, and Aizan Guevara, Albert Arenas, Barry Baltas and Justina Vietti. Ivan Ortola, Joe Roberts and Alex Escray, Marcos Ramirez, Zonta van der Gerberg and Mario Argi. Adrian Huetas, then we get Oradao along with Kunitsi, along with Alonso Fernandez. And then Alberino and Binder at the back of the field.
Alonso's down to 25th on the grid. What can he do from back there? Probably a tall order to get up towards the podium positions. And with all that, with this grid like this, Michael, Is this one of the most unpredictable Moto2 races we've got this season?
Yeah, even looking at the grid, it is slightly topsy-turvy in terms of the qualifying, the fact that Holgado's been the pace setter.
You see Danny Munoz lift up Jake Dixon down into turn 1 there.
A bit of a trial run into turn 1. And yeah, Neil picked him as a dark horse. Munoz has been so impressive this weekend on the AO-KTM. He's looked really fast across all sessions. He could be a contender here for this victory. As you said, so unpredictable. Names in there that we don't know how they're going to perform and manage the tyres towards the end. I think that's going to be crucial. We've seen it in years gone by. The Moto2 race gets decided around here by who saves the rear tyre towards the end of the race.
25 points, the gap between Manuel Gonzalez and Aaron Canet. He extended that lead, of course, last time out in Hungary. But Moreira is the one who's been closing the gap between himself and the championship leader. However, Moreira hasn't had it all his own way. What do you reckon in terms of tyre management? How do you go about this race if you're Gonzalez, if you're Moreira?
As we witnessed in Moto3, the clever riders were just breathing on the throttle, being patient around the long corners, trying to keep roll speed up through the turn, not really looking for that drive grip off the edge of the tyre. So it's important to be smooth and important to be patient. Also important in terms of track position, because if you're getting one of those grid penalties and you're 9 places down, it is tough to make overtakes without using rubber to do so.
Front tyres a problem too. Who do you reckon is going to be best on the tyres? Is it? Can you predict it?
Well, last year we watched Senna just really come forward in the latter laps. He saved a lot of tyre towards the end, whilst other riders were languishing a little bit. So Senna's second row of the grid. I always think Colin Fire in Moto3 was really good at doing similar. He's on the front row. And Jake, as we spoke to the tyre whisperer on the grid, he believes that he can manage it all the way to the end.
I love the little turn of phrase from Jake. Tyre whispering.
Tyre whispering down to the first corner is going to be very, very big. So yellow flags in the first and the fourth sector. They'll disappear shortly. And then the build-up begins. Almost set to go then. Another round of the MotoGP World Championship at Moto2 is time to shine for 21 racing laps ahead of us. Green flag is given at the back. Holgado from Dixon and Colin Vire. 5 lights ahead of the riders. It's lights out. We're underway in Barcelona. Jake Dixon gets a bit of a wheelie on the start. That gives Holgado the lead down towards turn number 1. Dropping further back as well goes Colin Vire. Coming up into third position will come Philip Salak as we go into turn 1 for the first time. We're 4 wide further back, but the front 2 are status quo. Round the outside, taking third position. An outstanding move from Manuel Gonzalez. He'll take up into third position with Isaac Guevara running in fourth position as they come up now towards turn number 4. This is going into Repsol as well. Will they have an interesting position to go forward as well? Down on the brakes, Holgado takes it. It's Dixon, then Gonzalez. Oh, and running up and having to sit up out wide. That is going to be, unfortunately, sent back wide. Eric Fernandez as well going in right to the back of the field. Has now gone. Philip Salak and Amul Sasaki. We've got a yellow flag out in the second sector now. As a result, Sasaki has crashed out at turn 4 and he looks okay. The bike can get picked up, but that was a yellow flag. Sasaki has crashed out of this race. Meantime, at the front though, Holgado leading from Jake Dixon and Manuel Gonzalez. That's 1, 2, 3 at the moment as they will come through down into the braking zone for turn 10. Hooks that inside line up and tries to get it onto acceleration and still is pushing incredibly hard and incredibly interesting. So, good start to this race. A smooth start is what is needed. So already a 10 out of 10. And are we going to see the remaining 20-odd laps be anything similar and the same as they come over? So, Daniel Holgado leads this race. Jake Dixon second, Gonzalez said. Lap 1 complete. Let's check in with TNT.
Alonso Lopez, who's got away strong. Good to see Lopez back in the mix. Started 9th, and he's currently running in 5th place, but he's going to be attacked down into turn 1 by Munoz, and he holds firm. Meanwhile, Isaac Guevara has got through on Manuel Gonzalez up into 3rd place. So Gonzalez, we have seen Gonzalez just take a couple of laps, haven't we, to get up to speed in races, but then we'll come forward as Danny Munoz right on the inside, and he's got every right there to push Alonso Lopez wide.
He might get it paid back though. Alonso Lopez is one of those riders. He, pays it back in kind. That was nice.
See how much black line was being left out the back of Danny Munoz's bike? That won't help him. As Pedro Acosta said yesterday in MotoGP trim, and those tyres you might feel would perform better in terms of longevity than a Pirelli rubber, you can spend your tyre in one lap.
Yeah.
If you're not careful.
You cannot be too greedy around here. And turn 4 is one of those corners where you have to be patient. Munoz is obviously prepared to use tyre to go forward in this race. He wants to be in podium contention. You can see the pace from Holgado stretching it out at the front. Jake is in a perfect position here. Let Danny do the work.
Let the race come to you, as Gonzalez clearly is doing. Now under pressure from Munoz. And this could be a little bit of inexperience perhaps from Munoz. I may be wrong. He's looked fantastic all weekend. But, you know, just when you start to push, when you're going past the championship leader like Gonzalez, who seems to judge races so well, just that gets your mind thinking.
Yeah, but if you're Danny Munoz, you're in as a fill-in rider, you know Onchu's going to reclaim his seat very soon. Throw it all out there. It may last all the way to the end. We've seen it in the past. Barry Baltus doing similar, working the tyre hard when everyone thought it was going to be a tyre management race. I do think today it might be a tough one to ride like that over the entire 21 laps, but I'm happy to be proved otherwise.
Whoa, that's close, isn't it, from Munoz down into turn 1. I thought he had to run wide there. Somehow he brought it
threw
back
it down into turn 1. That was an aggressive manoeuvre.
And a bit, he's just, as he's arrived at them, immediately attacked.
New fastest lap of the race came from Jake Dixon as he kept tabs on the leader, Danny Holgado. A little signal there from Manuel Gonzalez.
Yeah, it was a frustrated tap in there. Canet into turn 4 again, ruining Celestino's race, but although Celestino didn't end up in the gravel there, it is slightly naughty.
He had to jump down to 13th.
Stakes in these early stages for Aaron Canet, who sweeps across in turn 5. Got Alberto Arenas for company. Down towards 7. There's Diogo Moreira in 10th place. Just not been on it this weekend, has he?
Yeah, missing a little bit. Not huge, but a couple of tenths adrift in Moto2 this weekend, particularly because the margins have been so close. And Moreira's just seemed a little at sea, championship-wise. He got to keep an eye on the number 18, Gonzalez, who's getting frustrated on this lap. He was tapping the seat with a little bit of aggression towards Alonso Lopez, trying to get the riders to stay in line, fall in line, let us manage these tyres here.
There's one rider who won't pay a blind bit of notice, then it is Alonso Lopez. Aggressive at the best of times. At the front, Holgado still leading, Dixon keeping tabs on him. This race is not going to be won at this stage, but it could easily be thrown away. Danny Munoz in 3rd. He was the quickest rider on track by 0.6 of a second faster than Holgado and Dixon on that last lap. Suggest that he's pushing to keep up with the leaders. Gonzalez is just letting this race come to him. The problem when you're doing that is there are riders around, like Guevara, like Munoz, who want a taste of the rostrum action.
Yeah, and he's going to get trouble from Alonso Lopez here. Alonso's not patient enough at this stage. He was one of the riders who slipped back into the clutches last year. He burned up his tyre, but at this stage, Manu's trying to manage it.
Was it Alonso Lopez whose lap times were about 6 seconds slower towards the end of the race last year? Yeah,
he was a sitting duck. I remember him spinning all the way around turn 3 and just could not go forward.
How do you do that then, Michael? How do you not burn your tyres up and still maintain the pace?
It is a smooth rider. That's their...
Canat's been told to drop 2 places.
This is the incident on lap 1. There was a bunch up there between Canat. Where's Sasaki?
No, we're not going to see where Salach got pushed out wide.
So no further action taken on Canat for this one. Yeah, Sasaki's up ahead, actually, so...
He was right almost on the curb, wasn't he, Canet? I suppose the line there from... I
think Sasaki gets assisted by one of the Red Bull bikes. It might have been Daniel Munoz.
It was
his
big
inside and just took the handlebar out.
Yeah, the line, it's the first lap, isn't
it? 3 and 4.
Canet didn't run over the curb. He was very, very tight into the curb. And Salach was just on the outside and unfortunately sent him right to the back of the field. Just what happens on this lap. Again, Holgado, similar pace to Dixon, and then Danny Munoz, 0.6 quicker than Dixon on this lap. Canet's got to drop 2 spots. That's what he's been told by the stewards. So no further action, but you're going to have to drop 2 spots. So maybe that first message was the wrong message.
Perhaps for the second one, where he was down the inside and touched Celestino, although didn't knock him into the gravel. So
It's causing contact at turn 4, but you reckon the second one?
I'm not sure. Could be either of them, I guess. But yeah, the first one we heard no further action, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Could have been a wrong graphic. Surprised me.
Fernandez is out. Fernandez has crashed out of the race. So it's Eric Fernandez. That's who's out of the race.
10th place, so that's done by the looks of things.
Begs the question here with the pace from Munoz. Is he going too fast? 42.4 last time around. Taking 6/10 out of Jake, 5/10 out of Holgado. Obviously, it's brought him into the draft now, and he could take a breather for a few laps and roll round behind these two, use the slipstream, and perhaps bring his tyre temperature back down a little.
Just have to be gentle on them, don't you?
Vietti's out. I think Vietti's out. He's dropped down to 27th position. I think Justina Vietti has crashed out of this race, so it goes from bad to worse if he has.
Completed his drop 2 positions, but not sure what's happened to Vietti there. In the championship, this is all good for Gonzalez, isn't it? His title rivals are behind him, and that's the main thing. Jake Dixon too far back to be a worry, a concern for Gonzalez. And he's, in turn, coming under pressure from Danny Munoz. Dixon here hasn't to get involved in
Munoz
too much
takes
of a
seconds.
scrap.
Oh!
Goodness me. He's going to run it wide there. Dixon has to cut back.
That's superb skill, I've got to say, from Munoz to be able to switch it to the inside, release the brake, modulate the pressure, still pull it down, not run wide at turn 1 and not have contact with Jake Dixon. Yeah, that was impressive stuff.
Not often you see a stand-in rider perform like Munoz has in recent weeks. He stood in for Fire at the beginning of the season. He's standing in currently for Denis Onchu. He's using a lot of tyre, I would say, it looked like, through turn 4. But Munoz here, really, really impressive.
Yeah, I've got to say, I like what I've seen from Munoz over the years and the tough route he's had to the Grand Prix paddock. He's been one of those riders who didn't quite have the funds and had to go back and race stock 600s and struggled for a few years, but his talent was always evident. And every now and again he's been plucked out of slight obscurity and given an opportunity, and he always delivered. So yeah, good to see him having the crack at it again with the AOKTM team. I think it's his 4th appearance this year and finding his feet with the Calex machine.
Yeah, he had 3 Franz Silverstone and in Aragon, and then this is his 6th in total, so 3rd in a row, replacing Unshu now. This group here, Guevara, Gonzalez, the pace they're running about 3 or 4 tenths slower than the leaders. So while it's not a concern yet, the gaps between Gonzalez and Holgado are about 3 seconds now. Just, you know, for later on in the race, when things... It is going to change, this race. People will drop pace. They have to. It's going to happen. The question is, you know, have you given yourself too much to do? You see how instantly Jake Dixon's just sticking to his pace. In fact, it's a 43.6 on that last lap, as Gonzalez now starts to come through. And
Yes, he's jumping again.
As Guevara comes straight back at him. You know that Dixon's thinking about lap 20 and 21.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go here. Likewise, Gonzalez, he's thinking of those latter laps. But yeah, unfortunately for him, the overtake not able to pull it down enough to maintain the spot, and the cut back from Izan Guevara was very nicely done there, 1-2.
Guevara's performed well recently, hasn't he? He's starting to show his face a lot more towards the sharp end. 6th place in the Czech Republic. He was 5th at Silverstone. He was 5th in the tricky conditions back in the USA. But more and more we're seeing in the top 10. 9th in Austria, 8th in Germany. You know, he's there or thereabouts.
Yeah, the step up in performance on his side of the garage has been very stark in contrast to Tony Arbolino's. You can see the progress. Guevara's certainly the second Bosco Oscuro in this race against the Calexes, so it's been a hard road to get things working with a brand new team, the Blue Crew Pramac squad. But yeah, Arbolino's certainly the rider with the expectation on his shoulders, and it's been the lesser experienced Izan Guevara who has delivered for that team.
There's Vietti with Ortolov company, another rookie who's been showing signs recently, and then Canet just got back in front of Moreira now and into 9th place. Senna Aegis just there again. As Michael reminded you, if you watched this race a year ago, Senna Aegis motored his way through the field.
Yeah, he didn't quite get a podium in the end, but he was so unlucky not to. He was one of the fastest riders over the latter laps. And we're still a few laps before we're even getting close to half race distance here.
And they're all
So,
chopping and changing in towards each other as well. That's what Moto2 is being at the moment. It's just time and time again changing factors.
Exceptional. Then it drops and levels off for a bit. Then you get a further drop at the halfway point, or halfway to 2/3 if you've managed it correctly, and then after that it slips sliding around a little bit in this racetrack specifically, should I say.
Can I ask about the front tyre? Is there anything you can do to keep that underneath you to stop that wearing?
No, whenever you get the banding that the riders have been getting this weekend, it is more about setup than anything the rider can really do. So how much end force you put in it. Sometimes it needs more. You need to load the tyre even harder, which seems contraindicated, but it actually can fix your banding issues. So yeah, you've got to hope your engineers and suspension technicians overnight have managed to get an answer for you on that side.
Just at the back of this group behind Moreira, look who's there. David Alonso has made his way through from way down in 25th on the grid. He's up.
Oh, we've lost our television monitor up here in the commentary box, so that's always a fine way to start the day at the moment. Hologado still leading the atmosphere, still leading the race, as they will continue to push on once more in this one. Hologado to Munoz, Dixon, Guevara as well from Lopez.
So we're not seeing
in.
him around the racetrack. Look at the tower on the left-hand side.
Who are we not seeing? Vietti, is it? You see? Well, can I drop 2 places? There's Vietti, jump back into 8th place. So he's
look, there he is, jumps back up into 8th place. That's been confusing us.
Yeah.
Transponder issues.
With his transponder, maybe some of the contact he had early on.
And there he is, visual evidence. He is on track, and he is still lapping pretty fast ahead of Ivan Artola and the chase group.
Yes, that's just a little bit confusing. Yellow flag's gone out in that first corner.
Salak and Navarro
dropping down it, so maybe a bit of contact there as Salak was coming through. And
yeah, they crashed out.
He has crashed. Salak and Navarro together have crashed out at turn 1 and 2. Let's hope they're okay. Guevara in 4th. We're on board here with your championship leader, Manuel Gonzalez. And as things stand, Michael, going to plan really for Gonzalez. Not that he wants 5th place, but Aaron Cannett's in 10th, Moreira's in 11th.
Yeah, championship-wise, it's perfect, but we know how hungry Gonzalez is to win, or at least podium. He's lapping at the same speed as the leaders, but unfortunately there's a little too much daylight for comfort at this point in the race. He tried to make the move on Izan Guevara a few laps ago, not able to make it stick, so I think he's just going to sit tight for a little bit and hope for a drop in performance from the lead trio.
Yeah, and their pace has dropped. Olgado's just done a 43.2, Munoz a 43.4, Dixon a 43.3.
Oh, that's a biggie.
Yeah, Navarro into the back of Salak.
Oh my God! Salak's. I'm surprised. There's a yellow flag start. I will not be surprised if we need a red flag. Salak's bike, the front tyre hit his head. That was awful. Let's have a look then. Well, hang on a minute. You can't race in a yellow flag zone, chaps. Sector 1 is in yellow at the moment. They've still got medics down there. Green flag now back out, but we haven't seen anything from down in that situation. That was a bad crash. So what happened as well with Navarro came in, dropped the front, tagged the back of Salak, and Salak's back went up over him. Salak got caught with it, and the front tyre whacked the back of his head. We've gone back to green flag conditions, but and Salak has been taken to the medical centre, unsurprisingly. And Vietti is having issues with their transponder. That's from race direction. Well, that is awful, that accident. That was really bad. It's lap 10 of 21. We're halfway in this race. Salak's conscious, won't be racing next weekend, I think. Yeah. Concussion, sorry. Yeah, that definitely, I don't think he'll be racing in San Marino. That was a really, really horrific hit. The front wheel at full speed as well, whacking into your head. Well, I hope Salak's okay. He's been taken to the medical centre. Right now, lap 10 of 21. Hologado from Munoz, Dixon, Guevara, Gonzalez, Lopez, Vietti, Artola, Canet, and Moreira. That is your top 10 as things stand in this race.
This race isn't done yet. Had our first track limits warning come up for Senna Aegis. That's the triangle on the left-hand tower. past the famous racetrack tower now as we come down the straight. They've stopped putting on the lap distance, the lap counter, as Gonzalez again takes to the inside of Guevara but chooses not to make any moves.
So halfway around this lap, reaches half distance, so it was Salat stretchered off, conscious, going to the medical centre for a checkup.
Rider conscious.
You never like to see the whip of a rider's head when he's hit the ground. That will possibly be a concussion, which may put him out of action next weekend in Misano.
Gonzalez had a think, didn't he, about going through there on Guevara, and now just turns underneath him towards 5, but Guevara will have an inside line. Gonzalez takes that line and takes 4th place from his compatriot. David Alonso's got up into 11th place now, or probably 12th on track, because Vietti keep having to factor that in. In the championship, extra place for Gonzalez extends his lead over Canet to 31 points. He's got a new deal in the pocket, staying in Moto2 next year. Track limits there for Gonzalez as he tries to put some daylight between himself and Guevara. But yeah, will stay on if he does win the championship to defend his crown, Johan Zarco style.
Yeah, wanted the step up to MotoGP. The seat didn't end up getting offered to him. Diogo Moreira has usurped him a little bit in the class, and well, obviously on current form, you've got to say Diogo's worthy of the MotoGP seat without a doubt. But it is a shame in some ways for Manny Gonzalez that perhaps his passport works against him a little bit, or just the fact that these, that's another green paint indiscretion for Izan Guevara, so these riders are pushing it on a little bit.
Yeah, their pace here, Gonzalez, for the first time in the last couple of laps, quicker than Dixon and Munoz. Still behind Olgado as Guevara comes back in front of him. Olgado, still the quickest rider on track.
Yeah, that will frustrate Gonzalez a little bit. You saw that it was a little wider exit onto the straight track limits for Izan Guevara, but it did give him the run onto the straight and the better top speed. Arguably, the Bosco Oscuros can be a little bit more aero efficient than the Kalex. It did look that way at the end of the straight.
Another turn 1 crash. This time it's Mario Aggi that's gone down. Who was second quickest rider? Oh no, don't tell me teammates have gone down together. Oh no, it's correction. It's Cooney, not Aggi. There's been a crasher.
There's another one down. That's Cooney off of
another one, not Cooney.
Canet, it's Aaron Canet. Aaron Canet's gone down. He's going down the timing speed. Aaron Canet has crashed out of the race. Yellow flag now out in sector 3 on our timing monitor, and it is confirmed that Canet is out of the race. Now, has he gone down turn 7? It's not telling us on our timing monitor where he has crashed. But he is out of the race. Right, let's have a replay. It is in turn 7, and that's a high-speed crash for Aaron Canet. My goodness me. Barrel rolling on the ground. Well, turn 7's a fast one to go off. That's not even scrubbing any of the speed off down there. Gonzalez will give a track limits warning on lap 13 of the race. Jake Dixon still running in 3rd position. Gonzalez is jumping around the timing screen. Look, the entire timing tower is changing around. Cooney's rejoined the race, yet the timing tower's crashed. Well, this is going well. We've got no idea what the complete order is in the race right now because the screen you're seeing is incorrect. So 2nd place in the championship, Aaron Canet has crashed out. Gonzalez now leads by 36 places. It's not just a transponder issue for Vietti. The entire timing tower just crashed. Everybody moved places. I think they've reset it now to see that it's Holgado, Munoz, then Dixon. Yes, it is. So now we have the correct timing tower alongside us, and Holgado is leading this race. So now the timing tower that you see in front of us, that is correct. After a serious couple of issues that they've had. Lap 13 of 21 as we continue this bizarre race with 9 to go in the Moto2 Catalan Grand Prix.
Make some inroads from there, perhaps a 6th, 7th place could be on the horizon.
Is it harder front tyre? Can I just check that for Olgado?
Yeah, and for Alonso as well. So yeah, we had a few riders opted for the hard front. Everyone on the development soft rear tyre, but on the front end of the machine, the harder one, obviously you would imagine, will band less towards the end of the race. And it has been Danny Holgado, Philip Salach, who's exited the race, and then David Alonso. So yeah, 10 dividends for the Aspar boys today.
We're getting to that part of the race, aren't we now? I've been looking at lap times. Holgado's pace is the slowest it's been for a while, and it actually matched by Munoz and Dixon. In fact, they were both slightly quicker than Holgado on that last lap. We'll just keep our eye on it. The gap across the line was 1.581. So we'll just see on this next lap whether anything's going to change there. Because it's looked to me like Dixon's just found a pace. And he's sticking at that. He's been at 43.8 for a couple of laps, but no, he's in a groove at the moment, and now is where it's going to tell.
Yeah, Jake's done it so well over the years, where he just controls it, doesn't have to up the ante. The others come back to him as perhaps it drops away a little more on their side. But yeah, I think he looks comfortable at that rhythm.
And he hasn't had to scrap, has he? Nor has Danny Munoz, although he's scrapped his way to the front. He's been quite by himself. Whereas these two, you feel like they'll have had to use more tyre as they go back and forth at each other.
Yeah, there's certainly been moments in this race they've worked their tyres a little harder to get those overtakes. I've got to say, I am impressed with Izan Guevara. It's that time of the year where people are talking about their seats for next season. Contracts are in the works.
That's a really late one from Celestino Vietti. He gets it done. Oh, Senna Aegis has got a long lap penalty, Michael. He's running in 12th place in this race, but unfortunately not going forwards, and will go even further backwards.
He had the track limits warning a few laps ago, so Senna just unfortunately must have dropped onto the green paint a few too many times.
Track limits warnings have come up for Moreira and Baltas as well, if you look on the left-hand side. Danny Holgado on that last lap again, quicker than everybody by 2/10 quicker than Munoz, 3/10 quicker than Dixon. He's responding. He's been excellent. Peerless today, Danny Holgado. I don't think anyone can match him.
No.
It's just whether he has some tyre left. But the fact is, he's riding at this point quicker than anyone on track.
Yeah, I think he's got things under control. It's looked that way all weekend, where they know how hard they can push it. He's stockier, but he's quite small on the Moto2 class, and that gives your tyre a little bit of an easier time as well. He's smooth. He likes to control things from the front. I always thought watching him in Moto3 that he'd make a good big bike rider because how he liked to be at the front, didn't rely on the slipstream or the toe in front. He always was comfortable on his own, setting his own rhythm, hitting his own markers, and yeah, doing it so well today.
Isn't it good to see two rookies winning races in their first season in Moto2? We've not said that too much recently about riders making the step up. He only won one race last year to David Alonso's 14. He won 3 the previous year as well, Danny Holgado. So he's proved to be a fine rider in Moto3, but this is something else today.
Yeah, it really is a coming-of-age weekend for Danny Holgado. And he's, as you mentioned, he was at the Tech 3 team versus Alonso in the Aspar team. And last season was outperformed pretty starkly by Alonso. So there was that similar expectation as they both stepped up, rookies in the same Aspar squad for Moto2. But so far this season, it has been Holgado, the more impressive of the two, until last time out, the victory for Alonso. Both quality acts, no doubt, but yeah, it's good for Holgado too. This is a similar pass on his teammate this time, Celestino Vietti.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, Lopez's time's just starting to drop now. On this last lap, here comes Gonzalez again. I was going to say Jake Dixon had just taken 3/10 out of Munoz, and he's closed back to within 4/10 of a second. So Dixon still slower than Holgado, but quicker than Munoz on that previous lap. As Guevara and Gonzalez dice once more. Canet, unsurprisingly, heading to the medical centre for a dust down and a checkup.
Yeah, not surprised.
Gonzalez not able to dispose of Guevara as quick as he might have expected. He's tried it on a number of occasions. He's just able to cut back turn 1 to 2. He's got to keep an eye on Celestino Vietti. I know he's only a 10th or so faster than these two, but he's just made his way past Vire the previous lap, Alonso Lopez on the last lap, and now he's got a bit of daylight, 1.8 seconds to make up to join these two for the scrap for 4th and 5th place.
In front there, you can see Dixon now just sneaking closer to Munoz. podium for Munoz would be equally as impressive as Daniel Gardo's win for me. It'd be excellent as a stand-in rider. This is Guevara and Gonzalez battling for 4th place. Just ahead of him, a battle's brewing for 2nd. Got a 2nd place earlier on in this year in Austria, and he loves leading from the front. We learned that in Moto3. This is his kind of race.
Look how perfectly he is in behind the bubble. That is a Moto3 rider, graduating to Moto2 and keeping that little strength he had on the small bike class.
Again, down into turn 1. Gonzalez gets back through on Guevara.
He's pulled it off this time, just managed to stop it better, so he didn't open the door so much for Izan.
What point of the race, do you start using your tyre up? Here, I think it is, isn't it? When you start thinking, right, well, this is what I've got now to the
push
line.
hard, yeah.
Yeah, you think 5 laps to go, I can up the ante, I can limp it home if I only get 2-3 more laps out of this rear tyre, but yeah, he's going to have to try and push on and just put a bit of a gap into Izan so he doesn't get attacked on the final lap. But I think with what we've seen so far in this race, Guevara might be able to respond.
It's his front tyre though there. Guevara was skipping across down into turn 5. Just had that light bubble across the tarmac that we've seen so much in Moto2 recently.
Yeah, a lot of slight chatter or patter, depends on the frequency obviously, but yeah, turn 5 it is off camber and perhaps there's a bit of marking on his front tyre.
Chatter's different to patter.
Yeah, well, riders come up with all different terminologies for it, but yeah, a patter's in my head is a little bit of a slower frequency, right, and a chatter's a higher frequency one.
Gonzalez closing in behind.
No science behind either of those, really. Well, chatter does have a bit of science behind it, I guess.
Yeah, you get all these different ways of riders skipping on the track. So in other words, to describe them, and obviously different again, you know, in their own languages.
Yeah, it goes slower again, and it's oscillating now. So yeah, it's just the words that you use to describe it to your crew chief, and hope that they interpret it and fix it for you next time out.
4 laps remaining in this race, and Daniel Gardo, untouchable. Danny Munoz, brilliant, absolutely superb. When he attacked early on in the race, you're thinking, well, watch it, you know, there's every chance you are burning your tyres up, but whatever they have prepared on that bike this weekend, working superbly. And obviously, any setting that Dennis Honshu's had in that bike, it's working for him.
Yeah, obviously a quality outfit at the AOKTM garage. I spoke with Danny Munoz, electronic engineer from earlier in the season, Simon King, and he's now with Bayer, but obviously he's replaced on both sides of the garage, but he had nothing but praise for Munoz's speed, his ability, his feedback, how he rode, and obviously we're seeing evidence of that today. As you said, this is equally as impressive if he stands on the podium as a substitute rider. Yeah, not many pull that off.
Jake Dixon's just closed another 10th in that second sector of the racetrack. But I'm impressed with what I've seen here from Danny Munoz, unheralded really. Will be in the World Championship next year, my understanding is with Italtrans.
And does it look like Huertas will retain his position there?
I think so. Sort of good team like that, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, second bite at the cherry for Huertas is deserved, and I think for Munoz, clearly deserving a full-time seat on this in this championship on a Calex again at Italtrans would be a quality signing, and Livio Supo and Roberto Brevio know what they're doing down there inside the Italtrans garage.
Just on Jake Dixon, he's had being told by his team, Manuel Gonzalez is 3 seconds behind. What message would you infer from that if you are Jake?
Yeah, I think 3rd place is okay for Jake. It's one of those where he's going to want to try, he's going to want to challenge, but today this is a good result. Back on the podium, first time since Germany, and you just don't want to put it over the limit.
You've got 3 seconds, give it a go, doesn't matter if you absolutely destroy your tyre. We can see now, you can see how much they're moving about in turn 3. They are now riding on the frayed edges of their tyres. That's the lead Daniel Gardo has, 3.3 seconds. Jake Dixon's closed by another 10th on this lap. There's Manuel Gonzalez, very solid 13 points this would be for him. A reminder, Diogo Moreira, he's down in 13th place behind Joe Roberts now. And so that means he's only picking up 3 points. Aaron Cannett's picking up 0. And so for Gonzalez, I'm not saying it's as good as a win, but he will be extending his championship lead.
Moreira's tyre must have dropped off the cliff for him to be dropping back. He's in the 45-second range at the moment. Giving away points. Joe Roberts making it through on Diogo on this lap. But yeah, everyone's dropped really when you think it was a 42.3, the best lap of the race earlier in the race.
And now Moreira's got a long lap penalty.
Oh!
Wow. Exceeding track limits, had that warning hanging over his head. And so Diogo Moreira will have to drop back even further. He'll go behind Ramirez, maybe even Senna Aegis. Disaster. This could be almost a perfect day. Here comes Connor Dixon. He has found that second win. That little message from his team, my reading of it is just have a go.
Just go, yeah.
But still, whatever it is, he's got the tyre now, doesn't he? He's not going to have enough for Olgado. But this is for Dixon, isn't it? After tough rounds in Czech Republic and Austria, from the podium in Germany, 4th place last time, back on the podium for him. That would be an excellent return.
Indeed, yeah. Worried for Munoz here. He just looks like he can't enter the turn. He's not got a lot of rubber left there. And Gonzalez is still lapping fast, 44.4 last time around, which is, well, over a second, 0.8 of a second quicker than Munoz.
Yeah, Olgado's eased off. He's into the 45s, but Munoz is at 45.2. And that's with Gonzalez doing that 44.4. So he was 0.8 quicker than Munoz on that last lap. And with 1.5 to go, it wouldn't be enough. Munoz just has to nurse it now to the line to pick up a richly deserved podium.
Yep, Olgado's going to
very
take a great win as well.
Moto2 race than we perhaps predicted. It has been more about tyres and conserving them, and obviously quite big margins at the front for a field that were separated pretty much 15 riders in a quarter of a second in some of the practice sessions this weekend. It's ended up quite a strung out race.
Danny Olgado's got the number 96 on the back of his leathers. That's his preferred number. Obviously, he's beating the number 96 in Jake Dixon today. I'm sure he'll inherit it next year. But with the 27 on the front of his back, Danny Olgado has 1 lap to clinch his first Moto2 victory. And after his teammate did it last time out, what a response from the rookie. Jake Dixon is in second and has that safe if he can just bring it home now as he goes through turn 2. Danny Munoz looks like he should be okay. 1.5 seconds though, back to Manuel Gonzalez.
Moreira's going to negotiate the penalty lane.
He hit the white line.
Yeah, but that's okay as long as you don't get onto the green as you navigate it.
Yeah, it looked all right.
Yeah, he's okay there. Yeah, 13th in the end for Diogo Moreira today.
Well, it's going to be less now, isn't it?
It's going to be 14th because whenever you keep forgetting about Vietti on that tower on the left side, he does drop out.
This is going to be Daniel Olgado winning for the first time in Moto2. A race winner in Moto3. Superb, dominant performance today. 2.9 seconds to Jake Dixon. Into turn 10 at Leclerc's, the left-hander down 3rd gear. Back up the accelerator into turn 12, the long sweeper at the top. Well, Daniel Olgado, now you can say you are a Moto2 winner. This is going to be very special. I'm expecting a wheelie over the line. It hasn't just been a victory, it's been a domination. For the first time in Moto2, Daniel Olgado wins! Fabulous race win, a fabulous achievement. Jake Dixon is second, David Munoz third, Gonzalez, Guevara, Vietti. What a race win! Daniel Olgado takes it in superb fashion.
He takes 13 points, and Diogo Moreira has had a weekend to forget. He only picks up 2 points with 14th across the line and a long lap penalty to boot. So that means Gonzalez now opens up a comfortable margin in the championship. Not Diogo Moreira, it's not. It's Danny Olgado who has taken victory in this Moto2 Grand Prix of Catalonia. Jake Dixon on the podium again in second, Danny Munoz third, but the day belongs to Olgado. Absolutely superb. We'll see how he and the rest of the field react to that when we come back from the break.
And it is a first victory in Moto2, which is just absolutely spectacular. So, Olgado wins, as we'll go through the full results. Olgado by 2.5 seconds exactly at the line. Dixon from Munoz, and then goes in with Gonzalez, Guevara, Vietti, Lopez, Alonso, Villa, Baltas, Ortola, Roberts, Ramirez, Moreira, and Zonta van der Gerber picks up the last points-paying position. And it's Alberto Arenas, Adrian Horietas, Senna Igas, Alex Escray, Tony Alberino, Dan Binder, as a Uni Uriday as well for Mario Aggi, Yuki Cooney, and then out of the race was Anna Canet. Philip Salak was out of it. Jorge Navarro, Eric Fernandez, and Anu Sasaki were the official retirements from that race. Well, it's a bit of a strange one and a bit of an ending one, isn't it? We'll stay with it for the podium ceremony and make sure that everything is ready to go following us here. So stay tuned on JB Motorsports for all the action. We've got MotoGP coming up later as well. So all that action getting set to get going. We've also then got the Formula 1 action. And then later on tonight, a bit more coming your way as well. Don't forget on JB Motorsports 2, we'll also have Freca and the World Superbike's second race of the day. So not actually... And then later on, we've got WEC and NASCAR. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. With the JBM team on commentary calls as well. It's been a great race. It's been a great championship battle, and we will do it again in a week's time at San Marino when we will go racing. But yeah, very surprised about all of the racing action we've seen here today. And just how crazy this actually is. And apparently some sort of Walking Dead zombie have taken over the MotoGP Hero Walk and have completely freaked out the riders, which makes sense. Let's go back over.
Welcome back to the Barcelona Catalunya circuit, where Danny Olgado is just taking a lap of honour around this fabulous racetrack. What sweet memories for him. First victory in Moto2 and in dominant fashion from pole position. Got an excellent launch off the line and never looked back. Never really challenged. Jake Dixon joins him on the podium in second place, with Daniel Munoz on the podium in third behind him. Manuel Gonzalez, your championship leader, extends his championship lead because Aaron Canet crashed out, so he picks up 13 points to Canet 0. Diogo Moreira only picked up 2 points today, not on colour. Olgado cruises down pit lane. Peerless performance, Michael, from Danny Olgado today, and you have to say it started on Friday morning.
Yeah, every time we saw him in practice he just looked so fast, so comfortable, and he maintained it throughout the weekend. A superb qualifying, a great start, and just a controlled, mature and impressive race from the young Spanish contender. He's what a fortnight has been for the Aspar team. 2 rookie victories in 2 weeks, and prior to that, the previous round, it was another podium. First for Olgado with a runner-up position there. They have 2 stars in their hands and a quality, great run outfit down there by Aspar and Nico Tirol.
Changing of the guard time, isn't it, in Moto2, with the rookies coming to the fore. And Dennis Foggia down there, congratulating him. David Alonso also, I have to say, he made it all the way up into 8th place from 25th on the grid, so a really, really good ride by both of the Aspar contenders.
Yeah, impressive from David Alonso. We didn't see much of him in the race, but in typical fashion, he kept coming forward, and yeah, solid performance to end up 8th and only 8.7 seconds down, which I bet he was pretty much that margin to the leader from 3 or 4 laps in.
What can you say about this young man today? First podium in Moto2. Just his 15th race, same as Olgado actually. And most of those for Munoz have come as a standing rider. Hopefully he gets a permanent seat next year. Manuel Gonzalez, that is satisfying, I'm sure. Despite everything going on around him, extends his championship lead, extended his contract with the team as well for next season.
Yeah, it's funny on days like that when normally Gonzalez wouldn't be happy with the podium, but stretching his championship margin to 38 points, that's a huge satisfaction for them.
Oh, good to see, isn't it? Everyone congratulating young Olgado. Fermin Aldeguer down there as well. A moment he will savour, a moment to remember. Jake Dixon also congratulating him. Well done, bro. Yeah, deserving of all the plaudits here today. Jake Dixon also, though, the way he's come back after a tricky time, needs some championing too. Let's hear from Daniel Munoz. Best finish before this was 14th. He's third today.
Danny, I think that smile is going to be on your face for a very long time. You step in as a replacement rider, and now you're on a Grand Prix podium. Can you believe what you've just achieved?
I don't believe this thing. It's incredible. I don't know how, but I'm here. Thank you to the team for the opportunity. First of all, good recovery for Denis on you, but I'm very, very happy for stay there. The team yesterday did a very good work and they prepared perfect the bike for the qualifying. Without this is not possible, and incredible. Thank you for my family, for Arroyo, Héctor Fauvel, for all the team. I don't know, I have no words.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, he sat out much of yesterday morning's practice, Danny Munoz. The team got the bike ready, and in Denis Onchu's absence, they celebrate more podium success, and he probably made himself a wanted man, actually, in Moto2. Not many people can step in like that.
Nope. It's a special character. You can see how badly marked his right-hand side of his front tyre was, but yeah, he's still able to fight his way to the flag and pick up a podium as a replacement rider. Fair play.
Alonso Lopez took 7th today. I was just mentioning before about Jake Dixon, though. He's been down in the doldrums, had a tough time recent weeks, and this shows a real marked recovery.
Yeah, the smile's back. He's happy inside the garage, happy on the bike, and delivering on track. So yeah, good to see him back on the podium, well deserved.
4th podium of the season for Dixon, his first since Germany, his best result since he won in the USA at round 3. Hopefully, more of this to come in his remaining 7 races in Moto2. Jacob with him.
Jake, a brilliant ride back onto the podium in such a difficult race to manage. I'm sure you knew early on that Danny had such brilliant pace today, so what were the tactics in that middle part?
I knew that he was going to try and bolt if he got the whole shot, which he did. I tried to drag myself away as far as possible, but if I'm completely honest, I knew what I had underneath me and I knew what to push and when not to push, and yeah, as soon as he went and Danny came past me, I was just a bit like, I'm just going to sit, let him burn his tyre more, because he was using so much more front and rear than me, and I was just biding my time, and 2 laps from the end, slipstream into 1 and then just put the hammer down, and yeah, I was luckily able to do that. Just a massive credit to the team from where we have been the last few races. We've had a couple of personnel changes in the team, and I can't thank Marina and Patrick enough to do this. They believe in me a lot, and yeah, hopefully this is just the start of good things to come again.
Great ride, well done.
Thank you very much to all my sponsors. Let's fucking go!
Apologies for that.
Apologies for the language there. Jake Dixon, clearly delighted to get back onto the podium, especially with things going on behind the scenes. You know, don't always see in teams.
Yeah, it is a quality team, the Mark VDS squad, and they said they've reacted, changed things to get him happier inside the box, and it's obviously paying dividends on track. So yeah, full credit to Marina and the Mark VDS squad for doing so, and for Jake to deliver on track also.
But unable to match the one rider who stood tall above the rest of the field today in Danny Olgado. Makes his way towards Jack in Parc Fermé. Watching his teammate win last year must have been hard, but now he channeled that to the perfect point where he has won just a couple of weeks later. Danny Olgado, your race winner.
Danny, what a weekend. The perfect way to win your first Moto2 race in front of your home fans as well. Just how much did you enjoy that?
Yes, fantastic weekend for me. I did an amazing job during the weekend, during the race. I'm very happy with my first Grand Prix win. With my family, my friends. This is amazing for me, the amazing feelings. Very, very happy with the job. Finally, my first win here in Moto2 class. Now with the car, let's see the next weekend, but I need to enjoy this win and this moment.
Huge congratulations.
Well, congratulations. It seems very much like Danny Olgado can live in the moment and enjoy it and really appreciate what he's been able to do across the weekend and hopefully, of course, take it forward. But you never forget your first win in Moto2, and it's such a hard class to get a victory.
Oh yeah, and I mean the fashion that he did it, how he controlled his whole weekend, how he controlled his race. He was absolutely perfect, and it was such a challenging race, you know, managing the tire wear, managing the pace, making sure nobody was tagging on, and yeah, this is a very controlled performance from a great rookie. So it's great to see, actually. You know, he was strong all weekend, but he didn't get too excited, didn't make any mistakes. Like I said, during the race, he had to be a little bit patient, manage his tire wear, and manage his rival. So well done to him.
Yeah, it was something that you mentioned when you did your lap, actually, around here, about tyre management and patience, and it would be the rider that could manage both of those things, and he was exactly that.
And just so smooth with it, Susie. His wheels never went out of line in any braking zone. There was no kick. There were no sort of pumping on acceleration. Me and Sullivan were talking about it on the exit of corners. He rode it almost like a Moto3 bike. He let the brake off early. He basically had more roll speed. He put less force through his tyres. It was a magical performance. As boring as the race was, because it was a boring race, yeah. I loved it. Because every time it showed him, I was watching a young man come of age, be really precise. And, you know, sometimes in his Moto3 career, he let the pressure of the occasion get ahead of him a little bit, and he did make mistakes, and I was just hoping and willing him on that he wouldn't make a mistake, and he didn't.
Because he'd been the fastest all weekend and put it all right and done everything right. And as we saw yesterday with Alex Marquez, you can slightly lose concentration or let something get you, and he didn't do that. We saw shots there of Jake coming in to celebrate with him and give him a hug, and it seemed as though Jake rode quite a smart race as well. He could see Danny ahead of him, the other Daniel there, you know, losing his tyres, and knew that he could come back at the end.
It was a nice controlled performance by Jack Dixon. You know, Jake knew exactly. He's got experience around this track. He's got so much experience compared to these other guys, and he was able to keep his pace. He was able to sort of have a look at Olgado. He knew he couldn't go with him. Then he had a look at Munoz, and he could see that Munoz was being really aggressive on the tyres, and he would have immediately thought, I'm getting you at the end of the race, or before the end of the race, and that's what he did. So yeah, a nice and controlled performance by Jake, and it's nice to see him back as well, because obviously he started the season so well and went through that little dip, and yeah, everything is back on track.
Yeah, fantastic stories today in Moto2. Let's enjoy the podium.
Yeah, delight for the Aspal team. Back-to-back wins from that squad, and it's a day to celebrate for Danny Olgado and crew. First trophy being handed out to the Aspal team. And more success for one of the best squads in MotoGP as a whole. Of course, former MotoGP team themselves. I'm sure they'll have aspirations of being back there in the future. About the ride from this young man, though. Standing rider he may be, but that was the performance of a seasoned pro, wasn't it? Takes his first podium. His best result up to now was a 14th place, and seals the third step on the podium today. Jake Dixon, been through some tough times recently, team changes and the like, but that is a statement that he's back in business, and up onto the podium once more. Top Boscoscuro bike in the race yet again. But your winner in a class of his own today. A class of one for the number one today. Daniel Gardo, a first-time winner in Moto2. And there'll be a big party for the Aspar team here in Barcelona tonight.
Wonderful atmosphere, what a wonderful race. It was a bit boring, but we got a first-time winner. It's champagne time on the podium, and Moto2 will return in a week's time at San Marino. Next up, it's the Premier Class. It's MotoGP in half an hour. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.